Y'all, I just got out the shower and I'm sitting here in front of my heater. And it's just like, baby, baby. I'm gonna cut this down a little bit more. I'm watching Living Single. It's making me feel better. It's playing in the background because I done watched this a couple times. But baby, when I say Jesus be offense, today was just like a whole bunch of Jesus be offense, be offense, be offense. Because it's just like you're playing in my face. You're playing in my face and you think that, it's cool to do it. Because when I say I just get out the shower and I just threw something on, but I really I was gonna get the tripod. But when I say don't let people play in your face. Do not let people, and that's the whole thing about like what I've been doing behind the scenes and stuff like that. Do not let people play in your face because, and I just thank God that I know how to discern things and I know how to just understand the amount of, I might pick y'all up, the amount of things that, he shows me. And, I thank God that even though like he still give me dreams here and there, but he switched me over to he switched me over to, and I'm not trying to edit, I'm not trying to edit, but he switched me over to, just discerning like stuff in the natural, discerning different things in the natural and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, like, I really, Jesus, I really, I want to talk about why, like, this week has been such a blessing to me, but also God had to make me realize, like, hey, like, okay, like, especially with my husband. Let's talk about this because you know, I was like, God, like, you know, it's interesting how he, like, I'm like, God, it's so interesting. It's so like, and I was telling y'all I told y'all I did 3 hours 3 hours of footage, and I was telling y'all about like how when me and my husband, and let me tell you, my week has been such a blessing, but it's been the busiest week. My leg is swollen right now. My leg been swollen since I think Thursday, maybe Thursday, no, Thursday, Friday. So, my leg's been swollen. I've been on it and stuff like that. So I need to really put some alcohol and rub it down and stuff like that. But I'm trying not to edit this video and I'm trying not to have it long. Um, but yeah, like I, I was going through this week and stuff like that. And, I was telling y'all last video, I was like, I don't know why I'm getting emotional. I was like, maybe it's because of my husband and stuff like that. Maybe he done got some type of revelation, some type of clarity. I don't know. But I remember when I first found out about my husband, God was bringing like to knowledge in 2024. And I was like, Lord, you know what? I'll take him back to you. I'll, you know, see what, I'll fast on it because like you keep bringing this dream that I had up. You keep bringing, this dream that I had years ago about, about him. So I was like, Lord, I will, I will take it back to you. So I fasted and all of that. And, it wasn't just me getting confirmation. I was getting confirmation from other people because I was still in my head thinking like, okay, Lord, well, somebody else, could be potentially, my husband and stuff like that. So I was like, Lord, I'll take this back to you and I'll see what you say and stuff like that. And, I was like, Lord, I'll take this back to you and I'll see what you say on it and stuff like that. And God gave me confirmation that he was my husband. So after God gave me confirmation that my husband was my husband, that's when the covering was there. Okay? The covering was there. I felt the covering. My husband was in line. I wasn't in line. My husband was in line. There was a covering. And, God gives us a covering too. God gives us a covering, a protection. God, covers us from a lot of attacks and all of that and stuff like that. And so God gives us a protection. Also, God gives us a covering. But when you come into agreement with, a marriage that God is trying to put together, that is a covenant. And then you get that covering. So not only did, at first I didn't start stepping into like praying for him and stuff like that. I was like, Lord, I was like, you'll bring, and this is my attitude since beginning, since last year. I'm like, Lord, you will bring him when it's time, when it's ready. You'll bring him. Like, I'm not worried about it. I'm already in my 30s. Like, my biological clock is not ticking. Like, whatever happens, whatever you give me, I'm going to be blessed. I already know, like, what you have in store, because God has already shown me, like, what all of that stuff. So I'm like, Lord, I'm not worried about, like, oh, like, is it too late to have a kid, or is it too late to start a family? It's like, I'm not worried about that, because, like, it's women in their 40s and 50s still having kids. So I'm like, I'm absolutely not worried about that. I'm like, and the only thing was on my mind was, whenever it's time, you're going to bring it to me. So so I felt that covering. Didn't no man come on to me. Didn't no man talk to me. Why is that error come and gone? Didn't no man talk to me. Didn't no man come towards me and stuff like that. And I felt that covering. Like, didn't nobody, but it wasn't until my husband got out of alignment. And you feel it spiritually, because God is connecting you spiritually. Even though the physical is not there, God connected you spiritually. So when my husband got out of alignment, I felt it. I knew that he got out of alignment. And that's when the devil sent people to start noticing me, start being like, oh, like, you cute and da 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 da, and I like, I want to talk to you and da da da. Bad motives. Do not fall for it. It's just like, it's not for you. It's not for you. And the type of person I am, I told God from the beginning, like, I'm like, Lord, when he did get out of alignment, I'm like, I need protection from him. Like, I need protection from him. Like, legit. And I'm still not done getting myself together. But I want to finish this video before midnight. I really do. I want to finish this video before midnight. But I'm not, and it was just like, I need that protection from him. And also, like, when he did get out of alignment, I was like, Lord, I need that protection from him and stuff like that. And I was like, this is not finna be easy, because I'm like, Lord, okay, well, I know he can hear from you. I know that he, speaks to you and stuff like that. But then God had to give me revelations like, hey, this is what's going on. This is what it is. This is what it ain't. And I'm like, okay, like, I got to start praying. Like, let me put my knees on the ground, because it's just like, I knew from then, like, okay, like, God, you my covering, like, the covering gone. And you know, after that, I you know, I was like, Lord, I don't want you to force, you know, I don't want you to force anybody into anything. And God doesn't. God let him have his free will. So it was just like, okay, like okay, do what you do. And it was just like, I was like, you know, after a while, I'm like, Lord, is this really my person? Like, I felt like him got out of line. Like, that alignment that we had, I'm like, it was a line at first, and I was like, then it was out of line. So, like, I had to take it back to God, and I was like, Lord, like, is this truly my person, or is it not my person? And I had to, and I don't know if I fasted, but God was training me. Instead of like going through my dreams and stuff like that, he was training me to look at the physical, like look at the natural, look what people are saying, look at, you know, how people are acting. And that's how you know if, you know, this person is supposed to be in your life, or this person doesn't supposed to be in your life. And I'm like, okay, God, I'm like, is this truly my person? Because I'm like, Lord, okay, this is truly my person and stuff like that. And you know, it's funny because like me and God was like, hey, like, if you want your free will, like, you can have your free will. And it's just like annoying, because then God gives me dreams, and then like God is like, hey, like, you gonna say this, you gonna say that, you gonna talk about this, you gonna talk about that. And it's just like, Lord. And lately God has really been putting me in my husband's business, and I'm like, Lord, I really don't wanna like, I really don't wanna. But today, you know, I had, you know, God had allowed me to start talking about him a little bit more than I normally talk about him, other than like, you know, hey husband, or how you doing, or I'm praying for you and stuff like that, because most of the time that's, you know, that's what I do on Instagram. But God had allowed me to start talking about him a little bit more, and just talk about like my side of the story, my side of things and stuff like that. So since, you know, God had allowed me to start talking about him, you know, I started to kind of open up a little bit more. So I'm like, Lord, you know, I'm already knowing like communication is sucky. But I'm like, Lord, I'll send a message here or there and stuff like that, and be like, oh, like, how you doing, or blah, 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 blah. So lately I have been sending a message here and there and stuff like that. And, you know, then I realized, I'm like, Lord, I'm like, this, you know, I'm like, okay, you know, I got to the point to where it's just like, you know, I have to do what's best for me. You know, I have to do what's best for me. Like, you know, until he comes into my life, until he comes and, you know, is here for me, and, you know, is actually being that covering that I need, I have to be here for me, and I have to do the right thing for me. And I have to stop letting people play in my face, because like, people are playing in my face right now. So I was like, Lord, you know, I was like, I have to do what's best for me in this time, because, and I can't think about him because he's not here. And, you know, and it's just like, when he's here, when he gets here, I'll think about him. When he's here, when he gets here, that's when we can figure it out. When he's here and when he gets here, that's when, you know, I can be like, okay, what's next? Okay, like what God is telling you, like, what are you trying to do? Because right now I have to think about me, and I have to make sure that I am okay, and I have to make sure that, you know, I do what God is telling me to do. Let me take this out. y'all, this is me. When I be telling y'all, like, I still haven't got myself together. Like, I be doing like this little stuff, but it's got a rubber band on it. But yeah. So, and I'm like, Lord, I was like, I was like, Lord, I'm gonna have to go back in quiet mode. I'm gonna have to disappear on him again, because you know it's not fair to me to just be talking to a brick wall. It's not fair to me just to, you know, be pouring out my oil. And that's so funny, because I tell my husband, I was like, I need a little bit more oil, I need a little bit more anointing. But, because, I go to work, y'all can't see it on my forehead, but, oh, it's still there, but y'all can't really see it. I was like, I tell him, like, I need a little bit more anointing going in there with them people, because, it's so important. And I straight up told him, like, hey, like, I don't know if it's like, somebody, like, and I'm like, I don't know if it's like somebody God told you to not be with or not be around, or if it's just like you being not ready, and not ready can go into like having fear, thinking about the past, having trauma, like being in a relationship and how it's gonna go and stuff like that. But if my husband is already on his free will and putting himself in relationships, it's just like, why are you scared of the relationship that God has for you? So you will willingly put yourself in a relationship, and this goes for anybody, not just my husband. It's just like you willingly will put yourself in a relationship with someone else, someone that just random and stuff like that, but you won't try to, talk or communicate with. And it wasn't like no situation to where it's just like, oh no, like, it was just like, hey, like, I'm gonna disappear again. Like, I was communicating with you and stuff like that. And it was just like, now I'm gonna have to leave it in God's hands. I'm gonna have to give you back to God. Like, this is my video of I gave my husband back to God. Because, he's supposed to pursue, he's supposed to be the man. And, if he's not pursuing, if he's not, showing up for you in the way that God says the man was supposed to show up for you, then he's not ready. And you have to be okay. And I think I told y'all, I'm not sure, but I was telling somebody, either you or Instagram, that you have to be okay with being in separation. You have to be okay with being in separation. And don't be scared to do what you need to do for yourself while you figure it out. Like, and that was one of the things, because I asked y'all, like, is it selfish to think about yourself when your husband is right around the corner, or your husband is coming soon? Is it selfish? And look, let me tell y'all, ouch, I figured out, like, hey, like, I'm still being played in my face, so like, it's not selfish to think about myself right now. And maybe just maybe God giving me a few more months to be single, a few more months to be with him, a few more months to just be in his presence. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm married to God first. And of course, my purity ring, let me show y'all. I left it today. It's on the Bible. It's on my new Bible. I don't know if I showed y'all that, but yeah, it's on my new Bible. Like, it barely fits anymore. And I'm like, okay, Lord, if my husband and if my husband doesn't come, if my husband doesn't doesn't come in probably like I'll say a month or so. If my husband doesn't come in that time, like, I would go ahead and get me a metal ring, and that's gonna be like my purity ring, the permanent ring. And I just go to Zales or something and get like a sterling silver ring to put on my finger. I don't think I'm gonna wear it on this. This is the one y'all can still see the tan marks. This is the one that I wear it, the side that I wear it on, but I'm going to put it on how they, well, most people now, they put it on the engagement. They put it on the ring finger, the engagement ring. But normally the engagement ring go on the right hand. As they say, who cares, honestly? A marriage is not about a ring. A marriage is not about a wedding. A marriage is not about all that stuff at all. And the thing about it is, I'm sitting here like, Lord, well, it's thinking about myself selfish. Like, it's thinking about myself selfish. It's thinking about things that, I want to do in you and things that I want to elevate in. It's selfish when I know that it's something that I could be doing with my husband, or whatever you calling us to do is delayed because he's not here and he's not in alignment. And that communication is so important. That communication is much needed. Look, y'all can tell like this is straight and my hair got wet. It was cute though. It's cute in the puffed out state. But yeah, it rained today, y'all. You guys said look. But God, I feel like God understands like where I'm coming from, because it's just like it's been years. It's been years, and it's just like I haven't got a hello. And some people are able to at least talk to their husbands before the separation and actually hear their voice and actually, communicate with them and stuff like that. But I haven't gotten a hello. Like, so it's just like, I know who he is and stuff like that. So yeah, I know who he is and stuff like that, but I haven't, truly gotten a hello. I haven't gotten a, how you doing, and it's so funny because since his covering is not on me, like his covering is not there, there's been other men that someone was like, I think it was like Thursday, someone was like, is that all your hair? Like, is that all your hair? And I was like, yeah. He was like, your hair is gorgeous. He's like, you got some good hair. And I'm like, all right. And, and it's just like, and then someone asked me my age. And then someone else was like, just be flirting around. And it's just like, why are you flirting with me? And the only person I want to flirt with me is my husband. And it's not cute. It's not, it's not cute no more. Like, some people like get big headed and be like, oh, like someone's flirting with me and stuff like that. That's annoying when you got a husband. Like, and I told y'all, like, well, I told Instagram, like, the lust and the like wanting for attention and stuff like that is really bad when, and I guess because I done did it before, it's just like, it's really bad when, you're trying to be married, or you are you're coming out of that, like, oh, like I always wanted attention, like from men or from women and stuff like that. And it's just like, it makes me feel good. And, it gives you some type of validation. I don't need I get validation from God. Like, that should, like, coming out of that, you should get your validation from God instead of getting it, you gotta separate yourself. And it's like, you get that validation from God. Like, I don't need the validation from anybody else. Like, I don't need validation from anybody else. And it's just like, I truly, truly, truly believe like that will get you messed up. Like, that will get you messed up. I have learned from it, and most of my time, like, I could be minding my business and here comes a man who just all of a sudden has interest in me or want to talk to me and stuff like that. And it's just like, all right, like, I'll pray about you. Like, I learned my lesson from early on that I'm like, I ain't finna be hurt from nobody, but I still get hurt because it's just like, I'll pray about you, but I have to wait and see. Um, like, you have to wait and see and get that confirmation before you um go into like talking to somebody or being in a relationship with somebody and stuff like that. And the thing about it is, it pisses me off. It really pisses me off that my husband's covering is not there, because if my husband's covering was there, when no man talk to me, when no man be asking me my age, when no man really be, I would say they would give compliments and stuff like that, but it's just like, like, no. Like, that covering from a spouse is just like, it hits different. That spiritual covering hits different. But when it comes to people who want attention and stuff like that, they will take that compliment and run. They will take that, take someone being flirtatious and be like, oh, like, man, like let me go over here, or let me do this, or let me do that. And it's just like you following your free will instead of following what God said. But it just makes me mad now that I done matured and I done separated myself from that mindset of, like, you get a choice. Like, and you do get a choice, but even if you got a choice and you brought somebody to God, but God didn't let me bring nobody to him, anybody that I was bringing to God and stuff like that, God was saying no. So when God was like, no, I have the person for you, and I was like, okay, cool. Because even when I started figuring out, like, hey, like, God, you put people together, even though I told him, like, early on, like, hey, Lord, I make bad choices. Like, I'd rather for you to put me with someone. So that's why when my husband came, I was just like, okay, that's my husband. But it was also like, Lord, don't force him. Like, don't force him. Like, I'm not forcing it. And that's why I never really text back to back. He doesn't get long paragraphs from me. He doesn't get like, hey, how you doing? And why you not doing this, or why you not doing that? It's just like, you're not doing it. And that's just like, it just shows that he may or may not be ready. And if he is ready, and I can say this, if he is ready and he's trying to do stuff on the slick, it's just like, if you doing stuff on the slick, like, and trying to, like, sneak up on somebody, it's just like, but did God give you permission to, talk and, communicate? Like, can you not still talk and sneak up on somebody? Can you not still talk and pop up on somebody? Like, I feel like it's possible. And that's just maybe my brain. But at the same time, it's just like, he will pursue me. And I know at the same time, God is not letting him rest until he get it done. Like, God is not letting him rest. So it's just like, hey, like, I still have to do stuff for me, because, like, I'm not gonna let people play in my face. So if I have to do stuff for me and stuff like that while he get it together with Jesus, like, it's so funny because I told my husband, hey, go talk to Jesus. Go speak to Jesus. I don't even know if a woman even told him that before. Like, hey, go talk to Jesus. Like, go pray to him. But now it's like, okay, I'm not finna talk to a brick wall. You'll message me, you'll communicate with me, I'll see you soon, or whatever. Whenever you decide to take it to God and, talk to him and pray about it and all this stuff, like, you will come to me, and you shouldn't have fear to talk to me. You shouldn't have fear to talk to me. You should be happy and excited to talk to me, even if you trying to surprise or pop up or do this or do that. Even with those things of, being like, oh, like, you know, you see so many messages, be like, oh, you gonna get engaged, you gonna get this, you gonna get that, and stuff like that. Even if he's trying to pop up and stuff like that, I feel like you still should be getting like some type of communication and stuff like that. You should, like, very much so. I don't know, but our relationships are different when it comes to God putting two people together. I don't know, like, if my husband pops up on me and it's just like, you know, having a sit down, I don't know. Like, it takes some getting used to, because it's like, oh, like, this is my first time seeing you. You know, it's like, this is my first time seeing you, this is my first time hearing your voice. And I don't know, I feel like I can handle it, but I feel like I'll be so emotional. I feel like I will be so emotional, and it's just like, you know. But yeah, like, I had to give my husband back to God, because I was like, Lord, okay, like, he ain't finna communicate, he ain't finna talk back, so, you know, it's time to, you know, hand that back over. Like, he ain't gonna say nothing, but I know he sees it and stuff like that, but he ain't gonna respond. And, you know, it is what it is. I have to do what's best for me. I have to do what's best for me. But y'all, it's been 30 minutes. I want to talk about this, and then I'm gonna get off of here. I'm not eating tonight. Like, I just want to lay down. I don't know if I'm gonna watch Living Single like that. It can play in the background. I cut it down. Did I screenshot it, or did I? Yeah. So I was supposed to talk about this on Instagram, but I haven't really been on Instagram like that, because I had a busy week. But it says, given the choice, would you rather have known who your God ordained spouse was ahead of time? Do you believe there is an advantage to knowing who God has for you, or do you feel like knowing the person ahead of time creates conflict, frustration, and unnecessary suffering while waiting? And y'all, I want to talk about this on Instagram, but I think it's a good one. Ray said this on a post, and I didn't read none of the comments or anything, but do y'all, like, I don't know. It's just like, would I rather for God to have, you know, told me like, hey, your person, I knew that I was promised marriage, but I didn't know who my person was. But at the same time, me still putting, you know, taking people back to God, being like, is this the person? Is this the person? Is this the person? It wasn't doing me any good. So when God showed me my husband was in alignment, we was good. Like, everything was good. And I'm like, okay, God, like, it's cool. Like, whenever he comes, like, we'll be good. Like, he knows who I am. But when he got out of alignment, it messed me up to where it was just like, well, Lord, don't force him. Like, you know, I felt like my husband will come correct. Like, my husband will come and he would know fully who I was when, you know, when he saw me, or when he, you know, when he noticed me. When he noticed me, it was just gonna be like, hey, I don't play about her. That's my wife. 10 toes down. Like, that's how I wanted him to come, but it was like, boop, slap in the face, and it's just like, it's okay. Like, I know that I rebuke that in the images. I know stuff happens. So it was like, it was okay. And I know that the devil works in crafty ways, and devil can give people like, oh, like, you're not good enough, you're not this, you're not that, and people can be like, oh, well, you need to talk to this person, you need to talk to that person. And I was the person that was isolated. I was the person that was sitting with God. And I was the person that was, waiting on who God wanted for me, praying about who God wanted for me. So, I feel like, I did want to find out about my husband when I was fully, when he was fully ready. When he fully was ready, and when it was no shadow of doubt that he knew who I was. Do I think it's easier for knowing who the person is before, like, you come in contact with them, they say hello, or they physically are here? It's not easy. it is more conflict, it is more frustration, but at the same time, you get to pray, you get to see that person grow, you get to learn stuff about yourself, you get to come out of agreement with different covenants, you get to come out of agreement with just the cycles that you have, and you get to see your husband grow at the same time. Because I understand, giving my husband his flowers, my husband knows, my husband apologized. He understands, but it's hard for him. And you looking at it, I know I didn't have it as rough as him, but I understand letting go of different things that you want to hold on to. It's sad, it's emotional, and it gets hard. It gets hard. And I was isolated. I've been isolated for about 3 years. So it's just I don't keep people around me. I don't tell friends my business. I don't tell family my business. And I kind of go into that in my other videos about why I don't tell my family my business. And it's just how they handle my divorce and separation and stuff like that. So it's just how they handle it. It didn't put the sweet taste in my mouth to where it's just I can trust you with knowing I can trust you with knowing information, with knowing information and processing information, because I feel when someone cheats on somebody else, and you can say oh, well, this person may have came up to them and seduced them and stuff like that, and this is another reason why it's just I feel selfish for doing stuff for myself, but at the same time, and not thinking about my husband, but at the same time, if my husband hasn't fully developed his relationship with God and surrendered all his stuff to God, I want him to understand hey, there's so many levels to this, because I feel and especially if my husband has been in his free will, I feel when it comes to cheating and stuff like that, it takes two. And just like how the Bible says that, once you look at and it's a woman or a man, once you look at them in a lustful way, that's sinning. Once you look at them in a lustful way, that's sinning. And I had a whole talk on Instagram about lust and stuff like that. And it's just I didn't want to post the man's video because he was I couldn't even go in a grocery store because I seen a nice looking woman and stuff like that. And it's just you have to turn out the grocery store just because you seen a woman that looks nice. You couldn't just mind your business and, go get your groceries. You had to walk out the store. There's still a lot of temptation in it. And that's certain that's things that you have to conquer when you about to, go into a marriage. Or, it's just like, you know, you coming back and telling your wife like, dang, like, I saw this nice looking woman in the store, and I got tempted and I had to turn out of the grocery store. It's just like you have to surrender that temptation to God. So it's so much stuff that you have to surrender. And I feel like my husband will have to go through those steps of surrendering just different things to God. And I don't have like, I was talking about like how on Instagram, how like, my biological daddy would have been easier to get through than, and my daddy absolutely loved my sister Angela's husband. But the other ones, my daddy was like, oh, my daddy even said something about my ex. My dad was like, oh, I hope he's not like his dad. My dad actually absolutely said something of, like, he did, like, if my dad doesn't like a person, like, he would let us know. Like, he didn't play when it came to like his daughters, and letting us know like, hey, like, be on the lookout, be on the watch. But he actually likes my sister's husband and stuff like that. But it would have been much easier for my husband to go through him than to go through God. And my husband has to go through God, and my husband has to get it correct before he can come towards me. And yeah, so it's just like, y'all, like, I had to hand him right back up. I was like, okay, God, like, he's a brick wall. And it's just like, I'm gonna be okay and stuff like that. Cause like, it ain't a sad thing. Cause like, most people be like, oh, he rejected me, he don't talk to me, he ghosted me and stuff like that. And it's just like, hey, like, you setting yourself up for that. Cause like, you're messaging him and you already know that he's not gonna message back. You already know that he's not gonna say this. You already know you're not gonna get this back. So it's just like, you can't get mad at God, or you can't get mad and be in your feelings being like, God, he doesn't supposed to reject me. He's supposed to communicate. He's supposed give him back to God, girl, and go on about your business. Like, and it's sad. Like, I feel sad because it's just like, dang, I gotta go about my business. Like, I have to go about my business. I have to handle my business as a woman and not think about him. And that's fine. Like, that's okay. Like, he'll catch up. Like, he'll catch up and he'll do what he have to do. Like, so it is what it is. So that's where I'm at. Like, he will catch up and he will do what he have to do when it comes to you, Boaz. Like, he'll do what he have to do. And you just do what you have to do, and you do what God is telling you to do. No matter if you feel selfish about it, because I felt real selfish. I'm like, Lord, I feel real selfish. And I told him, I was like, I feel selfish because now I'm think like, it's a thing to where it's just like, I'm making moves, I'm doing changes and stuff like that. And it's just like, are you here? Like, are you with me? Or like, are you not ready? Like, so it's like, I'm making these changes and stuff like that. And it's just like, I'm not finna be in the same mindset or in the same predicament or in the same box that I'm in now. It's like, I'm finna be in a whole different box or a whole different, shape or, different area and stuff like that. And it's just like, you gonna have to catch up now at this point. Like, cause I have to, like, people playing in my face, like, I'm cool. Like, I'm cool. Like, so, that's hard for me. I did feel like a little bit emotional about it, but then I'm like, hey, like, and I just kept it real. I was like, hey, like, whenever God gives you the green light to show up and communicate and message and all of this stuff, like, you will do it. Like, you won't have no fear. You will just say, hey, how you doing? Like, I love that you talk to me, or, I love that you are still trying to, you know, speak to me through, you know, all the stuff that, you know, we've been through and all of that. Like, he will get there. My eyes hurt, y'all. But yeah, he will get there. And it's just like, let God work. Let God, and I told y'all, I told on Instagram, let God cook. Let God cook on that man. Let God cook. He may not like it, but let God cook. But let me see. Let me see what I talked about. Because it's like 45 minutes. And I want to get up off of here. Would you rather have known who your God ordained spouse was ahead of time? I don't know. I'd rather for us to come together, or God to make a collision, and he already be like, he already know that he's ready for marriage. Because then he doesn't have to be like, oh, I got my own free will to choose who I want to be with. He's already wanting to, a man who wants to be married is going, and this is where I messed up, because there was a lot of men who came into my life, but they wasn't ready for marriage. They wasn't trying to be married in their single state. In their single state, if a man wants to be married, he's not going to just choose anybody to come near him, come beside him. And he's going to be very particular about who he has on his side. And you know, that's where you ask questions. And I had to get rid of a lot of people out of my life because they wasn't ready for marriage. Like, they wasn't ready for marriage. They was just like, hey, like, we can chill, we can do this, we can do that, but like, I ain't with the fairy. So one of them was like, I ain't with the fairy tale lifestyle, and the other one was like I don't even think I'm ready for that. So it's just like, you telling me already, like, you're not for me. Should have got the hint, a clue. And that's what God has been working with me. Like, that's why I'm like, in the separation, I learned a lot too. Like, God worked with me to understand, like, hey, like, take that as a hint and a clue that this person is not for you. If that person is not thinking about marriage in their single life, and, you know, wanting to be married and wanting to find a wife, they're not going to understand, and they're not going to be in the mindset of like, I'm looking for a wife. They're going to be in the mindset of, I'm looking for a girlfriend, I'm looking for someone to talk to, I'm looking for someone to just, you know, I'm looking for someone to just, you know, all of these things. If they're not looking for a wife in that single state, then they have to get to that mindset. Because then if you're looking for marriage and stuff like that, and they're not looking for marriage, they're just looking like, oh, like, you can be my girlfriend. And it's just like, but that's not what I want. Like, that's not what I'm asking for. Like, I'm looking to, you know, and it is so funny because I was telling y'all, like, I don't know if he's coming with an apology. I don't know if he's coming with a ring. I don't know if he's coming with this, and this. But whatever he comes with, or, yeah, and I was like, I don't know if he's coming to court me. So I'd rather him court me, not date me. Court me. Court me. And I shouldn't do quotes. But court me, not date me. Because then that tells me, like, I want to see if this relationship is going to lead to marriage. There's no, like, let's go out and feel each other out. Let's go out and just casually date. Like, we ain't finna waste each other's time. Like, we ain't finna play these games. It's either you ready to think about marriage and kids and stuff like that, and all the things that comes with that, and it's no pressure and stuff. Like, I don't feel pressure to be a wife. Even if I done did it before, I don't feel pressured to be his wife. And I gotta get up off of here. I don't feel pressure to be his wife. I feel like it's an honor. I feel like it's a blessing. So it's just like, you know, until he gets to this point to where it's just like, you know, I love this girl, and, you know, no matter what people think, no matter what people say, she's an honor and she's a blessing to me. She's gonna bring favor, and that's my wife. Until he gets to that point, until he's able to communicate. I don't know what's with his communication, and maybe it's a Zechariah thing. I was talking about Zechariah, to where he didn't believe in it, and that may be like why I felt his covering at first, and then once he didn't show up, and once he didn't come, and all of these things, it was kind of like a split. So once he didn't show up, once that covering was lifted, I was like, oh Lord, like I gotta do some praying, like I gotta pray for him and stuff like that. And it's so funny because he was just like, I told my husband, I was like, hey, like I'm gonna see you soon. Like I know I'm gonna see him soon, but I have to be selfish right now. Like I have to be selfish right now because people playing with my face. So I have to be selfish, and I have to make sure I'm okay. Like I have to make sure that I'm good. And it wasn't no thing to where it's just like, hey, like you gonna communicate, you're gonna say what you need to say, and if you pop up, you pop up. I'm like, where I'm at, like, like, and it's so funny because I'm like, where I'm at, like, you'll find me. And just talk to God, because like with God, like I even told him, like, you don't know how many things that I done took to God to figure out stuff about you. Like you don't know how many things I done took back to God just so I can figure out different things about you. Not only that he big-headed and hard-headed, but just different things about him, like that, it's just like, you don't know how many times I took things back to God just to figure out, like, hey, Lord, what was this? Like, how is this? Like, how is this personality? What's this characteristic trait? Like, do I need to pray for him in this way? And like, all of these things. But yeah, like, it's sad that I have to be selfish right now. But I have to, God is making me uncomfortable for a reason. God is making me uncomfortable and my neighbor is gone right now, and it's been like, I always feel peace in my house, and y'all know I pray over my house, but it's been a spiritual peace. Like when he's there, something is off, but when he's gone, it's a spiritual peace. Like I ain't gotta worry, like there's nobody there, so I ain't gotta worry about nothing. It's just like, okay, like, Lord, stand alone house coming soon, husband coming soon, stand alone house man coming soon. Will husband be in it? I don't know. Will he allow me to get a standalone house on my own? I don't know. But I do feel, it is frustration, because I know me and my husband supposed to be doing stuff, and his knowledge can help me, and his knowledge can help me, and some of my knowledge can help him, and all of that. So it's just like, we can help each other. And it's just like, it's so delayed, because I don't know if the devil is getting his thoughts and being like, oh, well, don't communicate, or she gonna say this, or she gonna be mad about this, or she gonna be, and it's just like, I'm not mad at him, like, at all. Like, at all. It's just like, I'm ready for him to, like, at least say, hey. Like, I'm ready for him to at least, speak. I'm ready for him to at least make that move. It's not a big step, it's a baby step. Like, I feel like communication is, one of the most important things in a relationship. And I'd rather for us to start off being as a friendship than, just me having to be selfish and just like, hey, Lord, I don't know. Like, I don't know if he, like, I don't know how he's coming. Like, I don't know how he's gonna move. Like, I don't know. Like, is he coming to apologize, court me? Is he coming with the ring, or is he coming just being like, hey, like, let's be friends? So if he's coming on some let's be friends and I'm apologizing and, you know, eventually getting to the courting stage, it's okay for me to worry about myself because, hey, like I have to make sure that I am okay. So yeah, but let me finish doing what I need to do, y'all. It's hold on, it's 11:12. So I'm done with this video. It's like an hour long already, but yeah, y'all let me know how y'all feel. Like, I don't know how my husband feels, of course, because the communication. I don't know how he feels about knowing about me before physically coming into contact with me or physically saying anything. And I don't know, it's crazy how God is writing our story, because like we don't have no, it's a weird communication when we do have a communication, but I do feel like God does cut his communication off, or the devil is running rapid in his thoughts and stopping the communication, and that's crazy. But I don't know. Like, it's important, y'all. I feel like it's important, and I'd rather for my husband at this point, like, he can hop up and just be like, well, why you did this and you did that, and that's like, hey, at least you communicating. At least I know you're feeling something. You know, at least I know you're feeling something, instead of just like a brick wall. Like there's nothing. There's crickets. But I'm not doing no edit on this video. I love you guys. That's my little TED talk. I still talk for an hour. But yeah, like, it wasn't, I told my husband, like, hey, like, you know where to find me. Like, you know where to find me. Like, you know what's up and all this stuff. But, you know, I have to go back into disappearance mode, because it's like, he even knows, like, what's the use of talking to a brick wall? Like, what's the use of talking? So I had to give him back to God. I have to let God cook, because if you're like, if I'm messaging and you're not saying anything, then you're not ready. But yeah, but he's gonna come, y'all. He's gonna come, and it's going to, I guess, be such a beautiful thing. I guess this is the weirdest thing ever, because it's just like, you know, even if he pops up on me and stuff like that, it's just like, Lord, well, he just gonna pop up like with no communication. like and, you know, even if he's like, okay, like in his feelings, or, you know, about his, you know, being in free will, or, you know, coming out of the world and, you know, having to let people go, it's just like, we can start a friendship, like, but friendships start with communication. Friendship is like, hey, like, you got this done today, like, how did you eat breakfast? Like, I'm not even eating dinner. Like, I'm going to sleep. I'm finna go to sleep. I'm finna go to sleep. But I love you guys. Like, that's my little TED talk. Like, give that man back to God. And, you know, even though you feel like a little sad about being selfish, or, you know, thinking about yourself, until they come into your life, that's when you start thinking about them. Like, right now, it's just you and God. You know, you can say, hey, how you doing and stuff like that. But, like, me, when I say, hey, how you doing, like, I don't get anything. So it's just like, you know, I might, like, crickets for crickets, I guess. Like, crickets for crickets. We're making a song. So it's just like, you know, it's okay. Like, it's okay to be selfish, and it's okay to think about yourself. But yeah, like, I thought at least I would be creating a friendship with my husband by now. But, you know, I guess we're not there yet, or he's not there yet to even start a friendship. And that's okay. Like, it has to be okay. Like, I let God cook on him. Like, it's like, husband, I'm letting God cook on you. I'm letting God cook on you, because, you know, it's not fair to me to just be talking to a brick wall, and he knows that. So it's just like, you know. But I love you guys. I'm gonna try to keep these nails on next week. So I'll come back with another video on Tuesday, hopefully, because I do have some stuff I want to do. So I'll be back. I'll see y'all later.